Dear students, welcome to our YouTube channel Vidya for Success. In this video, let us continue our study on the anatomy of earthworm. Yes, today we are studying about the circulatory system of earthworm. So for circulating blood, the earthworm consists of a circulatory system, right? So because of this circulatory system, the blood is circulated to each and every corner of the body. So what is the type of circulatory system can be seen in earthworm? Yes, the earthworm consists of closed type of circulatory system. That means the circulation of blood takes place through the vessels. That means a proper network, a proper channel is present in the body of this animal for circulating the blood. So because of this, the type of circulatory system is considered as a closed type of circulatory system, right? So the circulation of blood is confined to heart and blood vessels. So the circulatory system in the earthworm consists of blood capillaries, vessels and heart. So these are the main organs can be seen in the earthworm for circulation, right? So it consists of blood capillaries. So blood capillaries are nothing but the small networks. So these networks are present in each and every corner of the body to circulate blood. And also it consists of vessels and heart. So heart is not a complex organ in the earthworm like the human being, right? So it is just a simple pumping structure can be seen in the circulatory system. Clear? And the very important thing we need to understand here is the organization of these three organs in the body. That means how the vessels and the heart is organized in the earthworm, we need to understand here. So you can observe the diagram on the screen. So this is actually the closed type of circulatory system in the earthworm. So there are three different kinds of blood vessels can be seen, right? So this is the lateral view of earthworm. Lateral view is nothing but the side view of the earthworm, right? So the upper wall, what you are observing in the diagram, that is called as the dorsal region, and the lower body surface, what we are observing, that is the ventral side, right? And the side views are called as the lateral views. Clear? So the upper wall is the dorsal wall and the lower wall is the ventral wall, and the actual vessels what we are observing, that is the lateral view. Understood? So there are three types of blood vessels we are observing here. So one is dorsal blood vessel. So which one is dorsal blood vessel? So the red colored vessel, what we are observing in the diagram, just below the dorsal body wall, that is named as dorsal blood vessel. Clear? So because it is located just below the dorsal wall of the earthworm, the blood vessel is named as dorsal blood vessel. So you have to observe the diagram. Clear? So the dorsal blood vessel always run from posterior region to the anterior region, right? So from back to front, the movement, that means the flow of blood takes place in case of dorsal blood vessel. Clear, right? So that the walls are present in the dorsal blood vessel in order to prevent the backflow of blood, right? So this is one characteristic feature of the dorsal blood vessel. So dorsal blood vessel consists of walls so that it will prevent the backflow of blood in the blood vessel. Understood? So what is the direction of blood flow in the dorsal blood vessel? So it carry the blood from posterior region to anterior region. So this is the direction of blood flow in the dorsal blood vessel. Clear? And the another one is ventral blood vessel. So ventral blood vessel is present just above the ventral wall of the earthworm. So the purple color one, what we are observing in the diagram, that is the ventral blood vessel. So because it is located on the ventral region of the earthworm, it is called as ventral blood vessel. So this blood vessel runs from anterior end of the earthworm to posterior end, right? So the flow of blood through the ventral blood vessel always takes from anterior region to posterior region, right? And the ventral blood vessel does not consist of any walls. So walls are completely absent in the ventral blood vessel, right? So these two are the main blood vessels what we can see in the circulatory system. So the dorsal blood vessel and the lower blood vessel is called as ventral blood vessel. And together with these two, one more blood vessel is present, that is called as lateral esophageal vessels, right? So the yellow colored one, what we are observing in the diagram, that is actually located on the lateral position. That means along the sides of the body, these blood vessels are located, right? So because of this, the blood vessels are called as lateral esophageal vessels. So they are in pair. So one of the blood vessel we are observing here, the lateral esophageal vessel. On the another side of the body, we can see a one more, right? So that a pair of lateral esophageal vessels are present. Clear? And that is actually drawn in the diagram on the surface of digestive system, because its position is lateral, so that it runs along the surface of the digestive system. Clear? And you can also see in the diagram the heart. So heart is located in the lateral region of the body, right? So lateral heart is located in the 7th and 9th segment. Are you observing, right? Yes. In the 7th segment, the lateral heart is actually connecting the dorsal blood vessel with the ventral blood vessel. And in the 9th segment also we can see the one more lateral heart that is connecting the dorsal blood vessel with the ventral blood vessel, right? So you have to observe the position of the lateral heart. So in the 7th and 9th segment we have a lateral heart. So the function of that lateral heart is it connect the dorsal blood vessel with the ventral blood vessel. And two more lateral esophageal hearts we can see, that is located in the 12th and 13th segment respectively. Understood? So in the 12th segment we have one heart, that is esophageal heart, and in the 13th segment also we can see the one more esophageal heart. So this also connects the dorsal blood vessel with the ventral blood vessel. Clear? So these structures, that means the heart is not a complex structure here. It is a very simple structure and it just pumps the blood from dorsal to ventral blood vessel, right? So it is muscular in nature. So because of the contraction and relaxation of heart, the blood moves from dorsal blood vessel to ventral blood vessel, right? So this is the main thing what we can observe here. Then if you move to the one more important thing, that is the circulation of the blood. So blood circulation is always confined to heart and blood vessels, because it is a closed type of circulatory system. Heart is not directly pumping the blood to each and every cells of the body, right? So heart is pumping the blood to blood vessels, and blood vessels send blood to the blood capillaries, then it circulate to each and every part of the body. So because the blood is circulated between heart and blood vessel, the type of circulation is called as closed type of circulation. So that circulation of blood is confined to heart and blood vessels, right? And in the 4th, 5th and 6th segment, we can see the presence of glands, right? So these are the segment, 4th, 5th and 6th segment consist of blood glands. So what is the function of these glands? So blood glands secrete blood cells, right? And also it produces hemoglobin. Clear? So these two things are actually secreted by blood glands. So one of the things secreted by the blood gland is blood cells. Understood? So blood cells are phagocytic in nature. That means they eat the foreign this thing agents. That means the pathogens are destroyed by the blood cells. So it is actually giving the kind of um, protection to the earthworm, right? And the blood glands also secrete the hemoglobin. So hemoglobin is not present in the RBC in case of earthworm, right? It is dissolved in the plasma. Understood? So this is the main thing you have to understand here. So the blood consists of hemoglobin that is dissolved in plasma. But if you take the human body as an example, in our body, the RBC cell consists of hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is a part of RBC cell. But in case of earthworm, hemoglobin is get dissolved in the plasma, right? So the function of blood glands is it secretes the blood cells as well as it secretes hemoglobin. And let us come to the important aspect here, that is the exchange of respiratory gas. So it is a aerobic organism, so it need oxygen for survival. So how it exchange the respiratory gas? It is not having any respiratory system to exchange the respiratory gases, right? So this simple body surface, the moist body surface, what the organism is having, that helps in the exchange of respiratory gases, right? And when the oxygen get enters into the body, the blood carry oxygen to each and every part of the organism, right? So the respiratory exchange occurs through the moist body surface into their bloodstream. So oxygen will get entered into the bloodstream and the blood carry oxygen to each and every corners of the body, right? So this is about the closed type of circulatory system in case of earthworm. Clear? So we have studied the few things here. So the first thing we have understood is the closed type of circulatory system, right? Because the earthworm consists of closed type of circulatory system. So for circulating the blood, it consists of blood vessels and heart. So how many types of blood vessels we have studied? So dorsal blood vessel and ventral blood vessel, and also we can see a pair of lateral esophageal vessel, right? And there are two pairs of heart is present. So the first pair of heart is called as lateral heart. They are located in the 7th and 9th segment respectively. So the main function of the heart is it pumps the blood from dorsal surface, dorsal blood vessel to ventral blood vessel. And we can also find the lateral esophageal heart. They are present in the 12th and 13th segment respectively. They also connect the dorsal blood vessel with the ventral blood vessel, right? And the few more this thing network formation we can observe in the diagram, that is commissural vessels, right? So if you observe the 14th, 15th and 16th segment, so there also we can see the connection of dorsal segment, dorsal blood vessel with the ventral blood vessel. So there the connection is actually meant by the commissural vessels. So commissural vessels are connecting the dorsal blood vessel with the ventral blood vessel in 14th, 15th and 16th segment, right? So this is about the simple circulatory system in case of earthworm. Yes, right? Yes, now let us study one more organ system in the earthworm, that is excretory system. Yes, the earthworm is an organism. It is showing organ system level of organization, right? So for removing the nitrogenous waste material, the earthworm consists of a excretory system. So this system helps in the removal of nitrogenous waste from the body. And how this excretory system appears in the earthworm? What is actually forming the excretory system here? So let us understand about that. So in the earthworm, the excretory organs occurs as a segmentally arranged coiled tubules called nephridia. So one of the organ is actually forming the excretory system in earthworm. That organ is nephridia. So nephridia is a coiled tubular structure. So these tubular structures are present in each and every segment of the earthworm, right? So we already know, children's, earthworm is a segmented animal. That means its body made out of number of segment, right? So in each and every segment, some of the organs are repeatedly present. So one such organ is nephridia. So nephridia is a coiled tube-like structure. This organ is repeatedly present in each and every segment. Its main function is the elimination of nitrogenous waste from the body, right? So nephridia helps in the excretion of nitrogenous waste material. So let us look into the diagram. So this is the anatomy of the earthworm, showing the excretory system, right? So as I told you, nephridia is the main organ forming the excretory system here. So based on the position of the nephridia, the nephridia are divided into three different types, right? So one of the type of nephridia is septal nephridia. So the name itself suggesting you the position of nephridia in the earthworm, right? So septa is nothing but the cross wall. That means where actually one segment of the earthworm connects with the another segment of the earthworm, that common wall is called as a septa, right? So the nephridia, some of the nephridia in the earthworm, they are located in the septa region. That means in between the two segment, that means where one segment is connected with the another segment, in that common wall region we can see the presence of nephridia. So such a nephridia are called as septal nephridia, right? So septal nephridia present on both the sides of intersegmental septa. Inter is nothing but what? In between, right? So where the two wall of the septa, that means a segment, connects with one another, on either side of the septa we can see the nephridia. So this kind of nephridia actually located from 15th segment to till the last segment of the earthworm, right? So this you have to remember, children. So septal nephridia located from 15th segment of the body to till last segment, and the tube like structure of the nephridia here opens into the intestine. So intestine is a part of digestive system, understood? So the tubular connection of the nephridia in the septal region actually get opens into the intestine. Clear? So the waste material, the nitrogenous waste material actually absorbed by the nephridia is directly sent into the intestinal region. So this is how the septal nephridia perform function in the earthworm. So it absorb the nitrogenous waste and it send it to the part of digestive system. That means it send it to the intestinal region, right? And the another type of nephridia is integumentary nephridia. So what is the position of integumentary nephridia? So these nephridia are actually attached to the lining of body wall. So in the body wall region, in the lining of body wall, we can also see the presence of nephridia, right? So the position of integumentary nephridia starts from the third segment to till the last segment. So we have seen the septal nephridia is restricted to only a wall region. That means on either side of the septa we can see the septal nephridia. But integumentary nephridia is actually attached to the lining of body wall. So that this kind of nephridia present from third segment to till the last segment. Clear? And how it perform function? It absorb the nitrogenous waste from a different part of the body. Then it directly send the nitrogenous waste on the body surface, because the opening of nephridia in this case present on the body surface. So directly it eliminate the nitrogenous waste to the body surface. Understood? So these are the differences between septal nephridia and integumentary nephridia. So septal nephridia actually opens into the intestine. So the nitrogenous waste directly sent to the intestinal region. But in case of integumentary nephridia, so the nitrogenous waste directly sent on the body surface, because it is not having any connection with the intestine. So directly it send the nitrogenous waste to the body surface. Clear? And the last is the third type of nephridia is pharyngeal nephridia. So what is the position of a nephridia here? So pharyngeal nephridia is actually located near to the pharynx region. So pharynx is a part of alimentary canal, right? So very near to the pharynx we have some of the nephridia. They are called as pharyngeal nephridia. So you can observe in the diagram, pharyngeal nephridia is actually located in the form of tuft. So you can see in the fourth segment there are pair of tufts are present. That means a tuft is nothing but many nephridia are located in one particular region. So in the fourth segment we have a pair, and in the fifth segment also pair of tufts are present, and in the sixth segment also. So that there are three paired tuft of nephridia. They are located in the pharynx region. They are named as pharyngeal nephridia. So you can see in the diagram the tube like structure is actually connected with the tuft, right? So that tube like structure is called as duct of pharyngeal nephridia. So these nephridia absorb the waste present in the particular segment, that means in the fourth, fifth and sixth segment of the earthworm, and it send it to the alimentary canal. Alimentary canal is nothing but a digestive tube, right? So it absorb the waste and send it to the digestive tube, so that the waste is sent out through the anus. So this is how the pharyngeal nephridia perform function in the earthworm, right children? So we have studied the three different types of nephridia. So these three different types of nephridia are located in different part of the earthworm. So some are named as integumentary nephridia. So they are actually located in the body wall of the earthworm. So how they excrete the waste? The integumentary nephridia. So they excrete the waste through the body surface. That means the opening of the nephridia in the integumentary is present on the body wall, so that it does not send the body waste to the alimentary canal. Instead of that, it send it through the body wall, right? And pharyngeal nephridia, then the septal nephridia, they send the waste material to the digestive tube, so that it excrete through the anus. So this is how these three different types of nephridia eliminate the waste material from the earthworm. So children, in order to understand the function of nephridia, first you have to understand the structure of nephridia. So the three types of nephridia what we have studied, they are different only in their location. But if you see the structure of nephridia, all the three types of nephridia are of same appearance. So the first part of the nephridia is funnel shaped structure, and that funnel shaped structure is connected to a highly coiled tube like structure. Clear? So nephridia always starts with a funnel shaped structure, and it is connected to highly coiled region, and that highly coiled tube is get opened either to the body wall or to the digestive system. That is depend on the position of the nephridia. If it is a pharyngeal nephridia, the opening is connected with the digestive tube. If it is a integumentary nephridia, the opening is present on the body wall. So that opening of the nephridia is called as nephridiopore, right? So this is the actual structure of nephridia. And what is the main function of the nephridia? So we came to know that the nephridia helps in excretion, right? So the removal of excretory product is the main function of the nephridia. And the one more function is nephridia regulates the volume and composition of body fluid. It actually maintains the composition and it regulates the volume of the body fluid. So nothing to be excess and nothing to be less, right? So it balances the body fluid by eliminating the excess waste material from the body fluid. So this is how the nephridia works in the earthworm. So without nephridia, it is very difficult to eliminate the waste material present in the blood, right? So nephridia always regulates the volume as well as composition of body fluid. So it maintains the volume as well as the composition of body fluid in the earthworm, right? So in today's class we have discussed about two um, organ system in the earthworm. So the one thing we have discussed is the circulatory system, and the another this thing organ system we have discussed is excretory system. Clear? Yes.